Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move.
Knicks in eighth in the East, which if we were to hop into the playoffs, both teams are in the playoffs, which is really weird to say as a New Yorker. When it comes to the NBA, we don't get to say that too often. So, yay. Um, when it comes to hockey, though, New York is fifth through seventh. Yes, fifth through seventh. I include the Devils because, well, North Jersey people pretty much live in New York City anyway. So, yeah, fifth for the Islanders, sixth for the sixth for the Rangers, and seventh for the Devils. So we're not. Let's stay talking about basketball through the rest of the month. There's no hope here in the hockey league. But shout out to Naomi Osaka for being the Blasian sensation and taking the Australian Open. Everybody knows I like Serena Williams, so thank you for making sure she didn't have a shot at the title. Also to well, I gotta say, I'm not even a huge fan of him because first off, Djokovic used to be Nadal, and I was a Nadal fan, but he won too, so I guess congrats to you. I don't like Djokovic, but I'm very happy about Naomi Osaka. Very happy. Um, so yeah, so that's the Australian Open. Like really the first major Grand Slam of the year, so that's why it's important if you're a tennis fan. Um, but the big thing for me, as everybody knows, is that WWE's been doing their thing. Last week we had what was that Vengeance Day for Valentine's Day. They didn't want to do the Valentine's Day massacre. Lord knows why they didn't. Probably your PC nation. But it was a pretty good pay per view. I mean, honestly, it felt very regular. It was bad for NXT, but good for WWE. If that makes any sense, right? Until the very last moment when you get the betrayal of the Undisputed Era from Adam Cole. That moment, you're watching a pretty decent pay per view. It just feels very regular. It's a long extended episode of NXT, and that moment right there was just like I literally had my jaw drop. Everybody was talking about it online. You go to Wednesday, it's even more awkward because now like I haven't been excited to watch wrestling like I was when I was a kid the same way until I saw that moment, right? And I love NXT. I love NXT. I love NXT UK. There are matches that I'm definitely like, this is gonna be good. I can't wait to watch it. But I mean, like that childhood, oh my god, I'm hype. I was itching for 3 days to watch wrestling. It hasn't been that way since I was like what, 12 years old. That's how good that whole storyline, that whole shift right now. Because those boys came into NXT and pretty much owned it as a squad. And when there's that twist, it was like when the Shield turned. And yet I cared more about this moment than when the Shield turned. And everybody knows in wrestling, in modern wrestling, when everybody's kind of like, do we like it or not? That Shield like departure and breakup was probably one of the biggest moments in the last 10 years of wrestling. NXT stole it in one night. So that was great. I think also the other dopest thing in wrestling news is another NXT thing. Have y'all heard that Cameron Grimes song? I'm sorry, but that hick hop song is dope. It is dope. They got a character who's a country hick and just got rich off of GameStop stock. I thought that was hilarious. But then the song is awesome. Like now I'm feeling like I want to make money and go to the moon. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm loving it. It's awesome. I'm loving the character. Cameron Grimes is also very talented as a wrestler, and made a name for himself on Impact. And I was really happy when they picked him up. They're utilizing him well, so I'm glad to see that he'll be coming back with at least a nice little gimmick. I hope they play that song every time he comes outside. Like it's amazing. I had as much fun as that as I did the first time I heard Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a good song. I'm with it. But tonight is Elimination Chamber, one of the major stops along the way to WrestleMania. And the thing about it though is I'm not excited. Right? mics, but this mic is not being very good today. Uh, Probably mad that I haven't been here in so long. But you acting like this doesn't make me want to come back, so you better behave. Better, I hope. So yeah, but let's run through these matches real quick. And the reason I'm not excited is that I feel like every champion fighting tonight is gonna walk away with the title. All right. Sometimes along the way to WrestleMania, they'll throw a hitch into the path, right, to kind of surprise fans with, "Oh my God, you did this right before the WrestleMania thing." Roman Reigns is winning tonight. They have it set up for him to win. He's going to be fighting somebody who entered an elimination chamber in the same night. We're not going to see a surprise come out of any of the wrestlers who are in this match. We got Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Jay Uso. I mean, look, let's just keep it real. These guys all have had moments. These guys all have had a championship of sorts. I know Baron Corbin, I mean, he was King of the Ring. I'll call that a championship because we've seen King of the Rings go on and have amazing careers, such as Kurt Angle and Booker T, right? And I'm talking stuff that you guys would probably know. But there's nobody really. I mean, so I would love if Cesaro had a great run into WrestleMania, but they're not gonna. No one is over Roman Reigns right now. It's not happening, and it looks like WWE wants to have a Spear Fest at WrestleMania, so that's just a waste of an elimination chamber. It's gonna be. It might be visually awesome. There might be a couple of cool moves displayed. It's worth watching, but it's gonna lead to absolutely nothing. I feel like the Drew McIntyre elimination chamber, right? They're building this guy up to be this warrior champion. I only see it possible for Sheamus to win if WWE wants him versus McIntyre at Mania. Because McIntyre needs to win at Mania to cement his legacy as a champion, to fulfill the prophecy Vince gave him, and then from that point on where we can see him lose the title. That's how I think they want to play it. But they may want him to win it at Mania to give him a true, proper WrestleMania moment before they take the title away from him for quite some time and make him an Intercontinental Champion for quite some time, kind of doing like they did Miz. Right? So there's a lot going on. I mean, I heard Seth Rollins filed a complaint with WWE because he was getting bullied backstage. That's ridiculous. I heard a couple of different things there, but the last thing they have the Bobby Lashley Championship match. It's with him and Keith Lee and Bro. Yeah, no. I want Keith Lee to win this so bad. Keith Lee needs a title. He's the only double champ in NXT history. He had to give away a championship so this way he can come join the main roster, right? In fact, he gave up 2 titles, if you ask me. They need to give him this U.S. championship. We're tired of seeing Lashley dominate. But in all honesty, Lashley has 3 boys to back him up. Point blank, period. They can interfere in the match, and it only takes 1 spear from Lashley and game over. So I'm not expecting that. And they already told us that the tag team championship for the women is going to be defended on NXT in 2 weeks. It's not Sasha Banks and Bianca winning, and this makes me sad. But it's just not happening. So that's your Elimination Chamber predictions. But yeah, every champion's staying the same. It's nothing. It's going to be just a couple of fun, entertaining matches if you're a real wrestling fan. If you're looking at something major to happen before Mania, a cool, interesting twist, it's not tonight. But might as well watch it anyway. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. On that note, we're going to go to our usual stories when we talk some current events.
Hi, I'm Charles Alomont, and I want to thank you for watching the LDM Network. For more information on this show or any other show, please go to www.ldmnetwork.net. Again, that's www.ldmnetwork.net. And now, let's get back to our show.
I wanted to touch upon. First, the acquittal of Donald Trump is the talk of the nation, considering that since the acquittal, he's still considered to be the head of the GOP, despite, being charged, winning, causing a riot in Capitol Hill. A lot of people are still talking as if he runs the party. It amazes me. And honestly, I told you so. It didn't make sense to try and impeach Donald Trump. It just didn't. It was all a show, all farce. He was gonna get away with it. Whatever they accused, they even said they didn't have enough evidence to prove because no one knows exactly when he found things out and what exactly he did when. Right? That he took action. They're claiming that he took action late, but there is no timetable, no witnesses, no nothing. So it's all accusatory. It's all like, well, you did something that sparked something, so maybe you didn't, whatever. But he never in any way, point in time, clearly said, I want you to attack the Capitol with weapons, kill cops, da-da-da-da. So it's all accusatory and like, yeah, I'm not saying he's not to blame. I'm not saying that he may not have motivated these people, but he did not give direct orders like he was a military general. So it's legality clauses and votes, right? It's like, oh, we need the votes of Republicans. In order for the Republicans to turn on themselves, and we've seen it in the entire presidency, right? You would need clear-cut evidence. They don't care about how people feel, right? That's why they're not liberal in the first place. They care about random rules that were made up a long time ago that they still live by that aren't relevant to just today's society. So you're gonna need like him on video saying something, right? Or anybody who's watched the Boondocks, how much evidence did they have to try and prove that it was R. Kelly who did what he did in that video, right? Episode 1. So, his grandmama even had to be there to confirm his Social Security. That's what it would take for a Republican, like a real Republican, to go against their own party. That's why Donald Trump was still backed by people who have had years of political work under their belts. I'm not saying they're geniuses, but they're not as dumb as they came across trying to defend that man. They're just loyal. That's all. So it's an admirable quality when given to the right people. Let me just say it that way, right? So that to me was just hilarious that they even try to make a big. They do that mostly to make fans feel better about voting, and yes, fans, because nobody paid attention to this until Donald Trump took office. Like, people were not talking politics. They saw a black guy get elected, said we all good, said we got 2 devils running for office, we don't care. And they were like, oh wait, we put a devil in office, we need to get him out. Like, that's what happened. All right. Enough of Trump. I will miss El Presidente news, and I do hope he makes another run for president just because it'll make me laugh. He's the president America deserved. I'll leave it at that. Next, along the same tone, Canada labels the Proud Boys a terrorist organization. And, bro, it's Canada, where literal terrorists have gone to live and stay and attack America from. So you don't like these white people from the South and the Midwest and whatever in America. They don't like you either. Your borders are already closed off. Labeling this a terrorist organization, and? So, it's Canada. But, the news, what killed me is the news was literally trying to press this. Like, oh my God, even Canada recognizes how crazy these guys are. No. Americans recognize how crazy they are. Every country on this planet has extremists. That's it. There's someone or a group of people who believe so wholeheartedly all the way in some ridiculous idea, right, without using common sense or logic, that they will do the most redonkulous things because of it. But I mean, we've literally had like the Middle Eastern terrorists living in Canada, or Americans trying to join them that moved to Canada, or so for Canada to label anything a terrorist is kind of a joke. Because as far as I'm concerned, it still means welcome. So let's just clear that up right there. You know, I mean, some people don't know how to dress. That's all. That's all I'll say. But if it makes you feel happy, boo boo, good for you. Yeah, the Proud Boys. I mean, it really does sound like they. No, there are a lot of groups that the Proud Boys don't like, but they sound very prideful, if you ask me. So, Kim Kardashian just divorced Kanye. Yeah. I mean, no, I've seen her video with Ray J. I hope she picked up a few new tricks because that video was whack. Um, and I love, right. There's been talk about them possibly breaking up for over 2 years now. I love how everybody's like, yeah, good for you, Kim K. Get rid of him. He's crazy. Um, I don't know how many people Kanye is married, but there's only one of the two of them with multiple divorces, if I'm recalling this correctly. So, uh, we're actually looking at a lot of that Kardashian family, a lot of really messed up relationships, even amongst each other. I'm thinking somewhere along the line they didn't really learn how to interact with people. I mean, Kanye is crazy. Don't get me wrong. Um, but the one thing we all know Kanye cared about was family. So my guess is he probably wasn't the problem. And I think she's so career oriented that perhaps she's trying to get rid of her possible baggage so she can elevate herself. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She probably feels he's holding her back, because his stunts will, ruin her name that's built off a sex tape. But whatever. Yeah. Anywho, I'm sure it's gonna lead to Kanye making good music. So thank you. Nah, Kanye's not even gonna do a whole diss track about her. He's gonna make a very like heartbroken CD that'll be a mix of him being mad, him being heartbroken, and some nope synthetic beats. Like I'm like let's make it work. I'm still hoping to hear and see if that Jessica Biel's leaving JT rumor happens, so this way we can get one good album from Justin Timberlake. Every time that boy sad, we get some dope music. I'm sorry, but it's true. His hits when he's not sad, they're pretty meh. But his hits when he doesn't know what's gonna happen in the world, those are epic. So, Bill, I'm not asking you to do it because I don't love JT. I'm asking you to do it because I do. I need that music. All right. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Now, there are a couple things that have irked me. Right, there's certain things that have irked me in the last few weeks that I want to talk about. So first off, one thing that happened was Groundhog Day, right? Now, why would Groundhog Day irk me? Point blank, period. A local groundhog had the nerve to tell us spring was coming early, right? Ever since that groundhog has said that, we've had nothing but damn blizzards. I wouldn't have minded a longer winter if the snow would not come. Give me more cold, but no snow. We don't do that here. We don't want that here. Leave that in Minnesota. Heck, put it back in Texas where it just came from. But we don't do that here. No. So, I'm mad that the groundhog lied to me. Spring ain't here yet. It's not early. It's supposed to come the 21st. It should be coming now because the groundhog either saw a shot or didn't see a shot. I don't know which one which, but the damn groundhog said early spring. I'm mad. I'm tired of this damn snow. Snow's everywhere. The snow is irking me, and that groundhog lied to me, and somebody got to get smacked. So is it Mother Nature or is this damn groundhog? Somebody got to get smacked. At the same time, the government needs to pay me. I'm rocking that all the way into 2021 until this government pays me. I won't be saying that. The government needs to pay me. Um, yeah, I'm still waiting on the Biden thing to actually happen. Right? Supposedly it's been pushed, and we're waiting for it to actually happen now, and yada yada. Look, there's a lot of talking going on. I don't need a conversation. I need a $2,000 check. That's it. I don't need updates on people talking, right? That's like, oh, I've been talking to this girl for 2 weeks. Well, did you meet her? Well, no, we just been talking online, like, so you haven't met her. Right, but I'm really feeling her, but you don't know her. Right? So these people talking about my money, they passing it around like the thought of it to each other. But until that money is in my hands, you needs to pay me, Biden. You needs
But
to
nobody
pay me.
nobody realized that Trump wanted to give them 2,000. They said no.
Trump wanted to give 2,000 months ago.
But they said no. So Biden said, "Let me give you 600 now, and then I'm gonna think about giving you 1,400." Now he's thinking about giving the 1,400 to the people that got. Ain't that 2,000?
That's $2,000.
It's the same thing that Trump was just saying.
Right. Months ago. Well, they realize some people can't do simple math, so they figure they can get away with it. But yeah, give me my check, fool. That's it. Just give me my check. You know what? I'm not gonna put it on you. All of you suits in Washington that already felt what happens when people get pissed off, pay us. Why you even there if you're not gonna try and keep us happy? You already see what happens when the crazy ones of us get upset. Why you gonna keep us mad, bro? You trying to turn more of us crazy? Pay us. Simple as that. Most of the people that were there at Capitol Hill, and they found this, looking into people's history, the people that got arrested, the people in the conversations, going through parlor nonsense, they were upset because their economic standing was unsure. Not to say all of them were bankrupt or all of them were broke, but the way that they were getting their money, the way that their money was flowing wasn't the same. Right? It was less, it was decreasing, it was uncertain, it was pretty much on its last legs. So when people are willing to get violent at Capitol Hill because mostly their money is funny, why are you being funny with the money? Give it the money. It's simple. Quick maths. Like, it's not like you aren't at the same building that just got hit. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. People want to get you. You're promising the money. People want the money. Just give the money. This is another thing that's been irking me. Why don't we have this money yet? I've seen in 3 days, Biden opened up the borders, apologized to Mexico. What was it? He let all the alphabet people into the army. He was repealing everything Trump did. Instead of focusing on getting rid of everything Trump did, right? Pay the people. The one good thing he was going to do, just do it. Then repeal all the bad stuff. Just get the one good thing done. Oh, the vaccinations. Screw the vaccinations. No minorities want the vaccination until next year, right? We're waiting for the PS5 to be completely updated. We're going to wait for the vaccination to be perfect before we take it. Give us the money. If you wanted people to take the vaccination, tell them they can get the money with the vaccination. They show up. Just give us the money. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I know I want the money. I know everybody wants the money. Government knows we want the money. They just don't want to give us the money. And don't blame the Republicans. The Republicans were all for giving us the money back when Trump was in office. It was the Democrats who said no. You remember that? Okay. It's just true. Another thing is cancel culture, right? And what irked me recently was Gina Carano from The Mandalorian, right? She was one of the people talking on Parler. She said some offensive things on Parler. Look, Gina Carano is a not so likable person for most of us. But she's a damn good actress in The Mandalorian. Why are you messing up the fandom? Look, we have a woman who clearly clearly made false allegations against a top actor. Fans want her removed from the series that she's in, and maybe is what we're getting. This lady is talking trash amongst her own people, right? In her own time. And there are fans petitioning for her to get the role back. But the studio is saying no. Where in the Hollywood mindset does any of this make sense? You got a clear-cut criminal with a job and a good actress that fans are like, we don't care. She fits the role. Who lost it? She's got another work since. Her own people definitely look out. I said I don't necessarily agree with everything they agree with, but they definitely do show each other love. Yeah, they're loyal as hell. I can't be mad at it. But this is ridiculous to me. I feel the same way about Michael Jackson's music. If you think that he did everything he was accused of, if you don't think that he did anything that he was accused of, you know how relevant that is to the song Scream or Thriller or Billie Jean? Completely irrelevant. That's just good music. She's a good actress. She comes to work. She does what she got to do despite who she may have to work with. She may have views that she doesn't like minorities, but guess what? She was in a bunch of scenes with them. Hell, she was in scenes with people who were freaking aliens, right? She may think they're all stupid and ridiculous and dumb or whatever. But she did what she had to do when she got paid and she went to work. And you know what? It's fine. I'm sure there are tons of people out there who work with people they don't like. But if the job gets done, let's get through our 8 hours and get the heck up out of here, right? That's how Gina Carano should have been treated by Disney. Lucasfilms was actually okay with keeping her and not because they agree with her, but because the fans asked them. And you know what Lucasfilms like to do? Lucasfilms likes to please their fans. Now, sometimes they don't, like with episodes 7 through 9. But you know what they did when they found out how much fans really didn't like it? They are trying to convince Disney to say that that's not canon. It's someone's fantasy. It's a side story. It's a what if. Because fans are so unhappy with it, they said, you know what? These aren't the real sequels. We're going to give you that. We're going to give you better movies. Because we figured out how to do it for Mandalorian. We're going to figure out how to do it for a feature-length film. And I appreciate that. I do. And that's how we should be treating these stars. Bill Cosby's Show was an inspiration for an entire community of people at a point in time when they really needed it. At a point in time when we still do, right? We as a people, especially in the month of February, right, like to talk about representation because it's Black History Month, and you know a lot of this is the 1 month, the shortest month, but the 1 month where a lot of great African Americans get recognition, right? So despite the bad person Bill Cosby was in his personal life, the product that he created, the products that he created, all were opposite of who he was. And perhaps it's because his intent was, he was just very focused on his work. Some people are just good at what they do, right? And so he creates this positive universe where, blacks are successful, trying to be their best, trying to be better than what the expectations are of them, and showing that they can do it all, right? And the number of black people who really responded to the message. I know people who used to go to the recordings live, right, and would tell you he's a jerk from back then. They know nothing about his sexual prowess, just as a man, he's an a-hole. And yet they still went every time there was a recording because the show was good. And that type of thing is why they tell you don't meet, your idols, because they'll always, let you down. But we forget that these people that we put on an amazing status are human. And most humans, when we really think about it, we don't like them, right? That's why we have a selective circle of friends, a selective circle of people that we trust, a selective circle of even family members that we deal with, right? People who share the same blood as you that you're just like, yeah, I know not to even be around you. So let's just stop, right? And for me, it's not like anyone is physically harmed or maimed, right? If we have somebody who's going out there sexually assaulting people, don't get me wrong, that off the rip, that gets you canceled. And that makes sense to me, right? Because you're physically hurting somebody. But we live in a generation where the slightest little thing said breaks people down, and the whole world. I mean, I'm sorry, but working with people who aren't necessarily in their right mental state and the things that get said to me on a daily basis, if I were to break down every time somebody said an F bomb, the N word, this, that, and the third, I'd be in the psych ward with them. Gotta grow a thicker skin. Some people suck. Period. But if they're good at what they do, let them do it. That's all. So remember, the words that she's saying on screen aren't hers. Somebody else wrote them. So we won't ever have to hear her. People didn't even know this about Gina. She's been a red person for years because, well, she didn't matter. Right? And for all the time that the show was running, she had the same viewpoints, been talking all this nonsense, and nobody cared really until Capitol Hill. So you went looking for trouble, found it, and then you're chastising her for something that she's been doing and no one reprimanded her from years ago. Let people be who they are in their personal lives. But respect what they do in their craft, in their work. Because if they're good, they're good. And they do it to entertain us and get their paycheck. I'm obviously I'm still mad about the Bill Cosby thing. Really take off everything of his from TV? Like, that's messed up. A Different World is a Bill Cosby production, right? And the number of black people who got interested in going to college because of that show, right? A lot of people get interested in college because they see the stuff about the partying, the this and whatever. And college isn't like that for everybody. You know, frat guys can tell you that it's definitely not necessarily the same as, you know, an American Pie movie. But American Pie definitely piqued their interest. It made them want to go and see a school and whatever, and they found their own motivation beside of it. But these positive and party and fun ideas about what college is supposed to be is what draws attention to people even conceptualizing going, right? So when you have a show that's full of black people talking about relevant issues to the community and you know, they're having fun, they're going back and forth in relationship, there's this drama, there's this, whatever, like, it gives people an idea of maybe I want to experience something like that, right? It promotes the idea of the you know, HBCUs and all that. Like, it's just, y'all really got rid of Cosby stuff. And now you're trying to get rid of a white girl. This makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. I can't. And I'm not trying to justify anything that they're saying or doing. I'm telling you they're bad people. But when the content is good, the content is good. Y'all really had the nerve to try and take Michael Jackson out of Starbucks. Y'all crazy. All you cancel culture people are crazy. Y'all even canceling people who are proven not to be guilty. Like, are you serious? It took, what, almost 20 years for the Dixie Chicks to be able to perform again, no problem? Like, really think about that. Some people who said back then what people are saying now got canceled for speaking how America actually felt, how Americans felt. Understand that when the world hated American government for doing things, because people were speaking out like that, they liked American people. And they couldn't figure out how the disconnect led to the government doing what they did, right? So people talking out their face, people saying stuff like, why are we canceling people off the rip? Just cause. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what to do with the current America. I can't. But the last thing that irked me, and I mean this really irks my soul. I don't know how many people love Aunt Jemima. But have you seen this nonsense they're doing now? I don't know whose dumb black cousin went to Aunt Jemima and was like, you know this racist, right? In an era where you can't do anything slightly culturally inappropriate, right? Because now it's some weird something milling company, whatever the case may be, and the logo looks bad, and the image of Aunt Jemima's gone. I'm sorry, but there's certain things that you don't ruin. You just don't. I know more black people personally upset at the removal of the image and name than in support of, yeah, this is for black people. Because no, this is just stupid. This is stupid. This isn't like Native Americans on a whole, like, bro, we don't want the Washington Redskins. Don't call us Redskins, right? And then the Redskins finally going, we're the Washington team. Like, this isn't the same scenario, bro. I have not heard black people complaining about Aunt Jemima as like a regular thing. It's not a thing. And then even in the Redskin case, we still got the Kansas City Chiefs, right? I'm just saying. Right? Oh, but Chiefs are cool though, right? Because they on top, right? See how messed up that is? Picking and choosing what battles you're fighting. But whose dumb idea was it to get rid of Aunt Jemima? That's a classic, iconic image and name. And the name has actually been used, as a positive and a negative over the years. And even with the negative use, it's like a verb at this point. When you're being that typical whatever, and you're just like, oh, it's a damn Aunt Jemima type, right? But no one actually went to the maple syrup place and was just like, don't use this. Don't use this. We talk about the history of the word, the N-word, right? And how there's the ER and the A, and how the history of the A is supposed to be a way of acknowledging and not forgetting how we were seen and how we're taking it back and reclaiming it and making it ours, right? But that's kind of what that Aunt Jemima thing was, right? Like, now you are taking this from us when this is our thing, right? We can call each other Aunt Jemima. We can't call us Aunt Jemimas, right? I mean, if we really talking about it, you want to talk about something more racist than Aunt Jemima, how about that black chick in those Popeyes commercials? Like, real talk. That to me was more offensive than any time I've ever looked at, purchased an Aunt Jemima maple syrup bottle, right? And I'm sorry if you really felt any type of way, just buy some Log Cabin. Like, Log Cabin is pretty damn good. So, in my household, we got both. It depended on who was on sale, right? I don't know about you, Charles, but it was Aunt Jemima or Log Cabin. Exactly. Yep. Well, no, we didn't go that far. I had to say it's good still. My dad do maple syrup sandwiches. Word, I don't know about Uncle Ben and Cream of Wheat. I don't know. But Uncle Ben isn't really the negative term. You know what I'm saying? You don't call somebody Uncle Ben. Well, the image I know, and I get that. They might even get rid of the image before they get rid of the name. I mean, they got rid of the whole thing here. Why couldn't the black lady still be the face? You know what I'm saying? Word, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's nice to see a black person on something when I go to the store and it not be a wanted poster. Like, maybe that's just me, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's one of the things that's really irked me in the last few weeks. Now, before we get into the movies, I got two really random stories for you, right? So, this is the 25th year of Pokemon, right? I still can't believe that I'm only like 4 years older than Pokemon. Like, that still blows my mind. Anywho, but McDonald's was doing a special thing with like the toys for collector sets and putting it in the kids meal. So now they've been having issues with supplies of kids meals for actual children because the adults who grew up on Pokemon are buying out kids meals to get the entire collection of Pokemon toys. Really random. I love this story because it tells you just how much nostalgia means to 90s and 80s babies, right? Like, for 80s children, late 80s children more so than early 80s children, Pokemon was the latter part of their childhood. For 90s kids, it was the majority of our childhood, right? Pokemon had a second movie by the year 2000. I was 8. Some kids were like, it was one of their first big movies. It wasn't Space Jam, it was Pokemon 2000. I mean, Pokemon's been a part of our life. They've had how many different versions and series for 25 years, right? There are not a lot of American shows that can say stuff like that, minus what, The Simpsons. Heck, WWE. This is major, and especially in Japan, there are but so many shows. This puts Pokemon in the class with shows for the otaku heads like Doraemon, Detective Conan, even One Piece. These are shows that have been running for 20+ years. New episodes continuously, regardless, continuous series. So this is a big deal, and I get why the fandom is so big for it. But y'all, this is to all the adult otaku, the adult weeaboos. Let the little kids have the 4-piece McNuggets, alright? You don't need no apple slices. You eat fries like a big boy. You don't need the yogurt. You can buy yours at the supermarket. If you really want a toy, just ask the people at McDonald's if it'll cost you $1. If it'll cost you $1, I'm sure they would be willing to ask and probably get more produced. But when you robbing from these little children's, bruv, you're not robbing them of the toy. You robbing them of the damn food. They can't eat a whole Big Mac. They can't eat a whole 10-piece. Just please respect the kids' meal. And last, before our next commercial break, a 50-year-old man turned woman has been playing basketball for a women's college team. So somewhere in his 40s, the gentleman decides that he's been living a lie and he's really a woman, transitions. He's a 6'8" ex-Navy soldier and is now a she. And she now plays for a community college basketball team where she completely dominated in her first game. This is a real story out in California. I mean, I think the best part about it, and you can look on the Will's review page for the images, but is how happy the other girls are that they won the game. Like, they really thought they were gonna lose. Bro, you got a whole 6'8" monster on your team. Guy or girl, it doesn't matter. They're 6'8" in a college game. They are going to dominate. But this, of course, brings up the argument that people are constantly going over now. Should transgendered individuals be given their own league, right? Transgendered women, who are men who transition into women, would easily top tier a sport. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to necessarily win everything, right? In the end, it's a competition. Top tier women can definitely compete with these, transgendered women. But they definitely have an advantage in being in the top 10 of anything. At the same way that a lot of transgendered men, women who transition into men, are not going to be able to be as physically competitive with even mid-tier men in their sport. And so I know there's a lot of they shouldn't be separated, they are men, they are women, but let's be real, we're talking the fact that unless you go through hormone therapy before puberty, more than likely you've developed mostly, if not fully, into your gender before transition. So your body is not developed in the same way as everyone you're competing against. You're not. And I'm not going to say that you need to compete with the gender that you were born in. I know for some people, any recognition or any, reverting back to that before is mentally traumatizing. You felt like you were living as a different person, and you wanted to get away from that, and forcing you back into that, it's not fair. I understand. But the idea of a transgender league, despite the fact that you may feel that it's separate, I think it's a valid idea. I think it allows more people to come out with who they are, with their story. I think it gives them an outlet to properly perform. It adds length for certain companies and businesses and sports to their events, which makes more money for everybody. So think about it. Consider it. It's an idea a coworker proposed, and I'm like, you know what? if we can get past the PC back and forth, is it fair, whatever, I think it's a legitimate decision that could please all parties involved, especially moving into future Olympics that are coming. And there's a lot of
Well,
flashback from a lot of Olympians, especially on the female side, about the
hmm
fairness of transgendered people competing with them.
but I'm joining the little people basketball team because I felt like I was a little people when I was.
I'm not touching that one, Charles. I'm not touching that one.
But I'm saying, is that fair?
I'm not touching that one because even in the little people's league, the guy who's 4'10" has an advantage over the guy who's 3'10". All right. In the NBA, if you're 6'1", you're better than the. I mean, you have an advantage over the guy who's 6'1". So we're not touching that one. We're not touching that one. Okay. We're gonna go to our next commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to give you a list of movies to not waste your time with, and some ones to watch.
LDM Radio.
But yeah, so we're back. So I'm gonna run down some movies you should skip right quick. All right. First, The Wolf of Snow Hill. We're not even gonna talk about what these movies are. Just know if you see these titles, run. Okay. The Wolf of Snow Hill, Toys of Terror, Max Cloud. What, Max Cloud? Don't. Uh. Oh, you poor man. I didn't warn you in time. World of Winx. That was the most. I'm not even gonna get to that. The next Karate Kid. This is the only one I'm gonna make a comment on. There's a reason this didn't become a 4-movie franchise. And all right. And then Viking Destiny, which has its moments, but no, just skip it. Now, some movies and series, I should say, that you should definitely take a look on. And I'm gonna talk about a couple of them, but we're just gonna run through some of them. So first is a movie called Freaky, where a serial killer and a teenage girls supernaturally switch bodies. Sounds silly. They didn't add Friday to it, but it was quite an amusing movie. Vince Vaughn, I love you. Um, we have The Croods, Dawn of a New Age. I think The Croods is just a really good movie line, so this is no worse than any other Croods. It's a fun watch. I think it's a good family film. Space Sweepers. It's a Korean movie. And in all honesty, I was more entertained than I thought it would be. Netflix, definitely put it up there to something you should view. And it was one of the few times they got it right. It's a lot of fun, a lot of action, a good storyline, sci-fi kind of a film, but a sci-fi comedy with some really good action. So I like that sort of a thing. Not quite The Fifth Element, but definitely a good watch. Just remember, a lot of foreign films are a lot longer than the ones we're used to. So just have the extra big bowl of popcorn. We also have Blue Story, which is the story of two friends caught up in the gangs from their neighborhood and the road that it leads them down. Minus a couple of kind of corny, rap sequences that happen during the movie. They get like the guy who's rapping in the background to literally pop up on screen. It's a solid film. It's not as predictable as you may think. And I think that's what I appreciated about this movie. It's that, I kind of thought what it was going to be about. You definitely get the gist from the whatever, but the actual where it starts and where it ends is kind of like, oh, well, that was not quite what I expected. That was actually pretty good. So I say give it a watch. Blue Story. Um, this anime series was as a collection of shorts that is really good. It's from the JoJo Bizarre Adventure line. Thus spoke Kashibe Rohan. Really cool, different, semi horror anime. Um, yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but if you are a fan of animation, if you are a fan of horror, you need to watch these. There's some pretty different creepy tales in here. And it's a very short series, so just take it 2 hours out your life and make them meaningful by watching this. Of course, the White Tiger. Gotta watch it. I'm trying to talk people more and more people into watching this movie. It's another one of those movies where I normally wouldn't want to watch it. This movie was so good I want to read the book. Um, and it's really just about that idea of turning yourself from being a servant into your own person. Um, and what it took for one particular person to realize this and how interesting of a journey that he actually had. It's really cool. I think it's a very interesting look at certain aspects of Indian culture if that's something that you're into, if that's a background that you have. So definitely watch The White Tiger. Oh yeah, Priyanka Chopra's in it for those of you who are fans of her. I liked Finding Ohana. I think that's a great family movie. I'm always all about something that shows off something about Pacific Island culture, because we really don't know much about it. Yet one of our states is a Pacific island. Like, so I appreciate that. So I appreciate The Rock trying to do more for his people. It did feel like Goonies, but that's not a bad thing. It felt like Goonies. It didn't feel like they were remaking Goonies. You know what I'm saying? Then a fun comedy you can watch, stand-up material. Gina Yashiro. It's from 2011, but most of us in the U.S. weren't watching UK comedy. So Gina Yashiro, Laughing to America. It's a really good comedy. She's really good stand-up. A bit of African, a bit of UK culture, mixed in with the American experience. So I thought that was pretty cool. And Kid Cosmic was a nice animated series that I really enjoyed. I think that's really great for the family to watch, not just the kids. And I choose those because kids can watch a lot of really silly, basic cartoons, and that's great for them. But when everybody's stuck inside, you need to watch something that's age appropriate for them, but something that you can actually get a kick out of, so you don't go crazy and you wait until 10 o'clock when they go to sleep and you can watch your naughty adult thing. So there you go. So there are a couple series there that you can definitely watch for sure. Now, before we go, we're gonna do our fans of the week. So Charles, do you have those? Who do you have first? So we have Patricia Romero first, consistent follower, her first fan of the week of 2021. So shout out to you and thank you for being an active follower on the Wheels Review page. Who's next? He bad. We got Nessa on your neck, who Charles wants to lovingly call hips. Shout out to you. She's been a long time follower of the page. We got Cadillac Gorilla, correct? Who is always dropping dope memes. As a meme king myself, I show much love to him and his page. Um, Next we have Rain de Jesus, who is an old friend. So shout out to him, my fellow otaku brother. Thank you for being a follower. And last but not least, Miss Bad Ad. Right, I gotta stress them Z's, otherwise we get canceled. Uh, so shout out to you. She's been a friend from New York down in Florida, so she out there doing her thing. Um, Definitely follow her page if you want to be amused. She's always doing something silly, ridiculous, and making videos. So I know the other day she was like dancing in heels with her daughter, doing some silly nonsense. So there's definitely a fun page there to follow. So yeah, just it's been a very trying February here in New York. Um, there's a reason why the snow has been irking me so much. So we are going to be coming back most Sundays if this weather is appropriate. It's been so bad. But guys, seriously, everything I told you to skip, do not waste your time with, because I'm still mad at myself for wasting my time watching. And we will catch you guys next time.
Excuse me, I'm next in line.